Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm in my mom's room. So I'm gonna sit on my mom's bed really fast. So I'm gonna talk about something that has been really on my mind for the past week or so. And so if you guys didn't know, if you guys haven't watched my other videos about my eating disorder story, there's more to it than what I actually shared. So before I even before I had my eating disorder, I danced for 10.5 years. And in that dancing time, I was overweight because I overate to the point where I literally overstuffed myself because I didn't have the on and off button in my body, and I just kept on eating and eating and eating, and I just didn't stop because my body just wasn't telling me when I was full. It was telling me when I was hungry, but not when I was full. So then I got put on medicine to help me later on when I saw the nutritionist the first time, and that helped a lot with my eating, and I stopped overeating. So that helped a lot, but I feel like the one reason why I overate when I was younger is because of the situation I got put in when I was younger, when I don't even know how old I was. I don't remember exactly how old I was. When I struggled with abuse, I struggled with just living with my mom over the years, and I didn't really have the best childhood. I got backlash from my own family saying that I was overweight, that I need to lose weight, and yeah, it just wasn't the best situation I was in. And then as I got older, probably when I was 12, I got bullied because I was overweight. People questioned about my weight, and then I stopped eating. I went on my diet, saying that basically, I don't remember exactly when I was 12, but that's okay. So I was younger and I didn't know anything about nutrition. And then as I got older, so also when I wasn't eating when I was 12, my doctor told me to eat right and exercise, and then that's what I did. So then fast forward to 2 years later, when I was, a year later, I think it was a year or two later, I was 13 or 14. No, I was 14. I think I was 14. Yeah, I was 14. When I got bullied pretty bad. I think I was 13. I don't know if I was 13 or 14, but I got bullied really bad. I got erasers thrown at me. I got little paper thrown at me, and a lot of things got said, I hate you, I got a lot hate, and I even got pushed up against lockers. It wasn't them literally pushing me in full force. It was them purposely bumping into me on purpose, and then I'd lose my balance and run into the lockers and almost falling on the floor. And that year, probably the worst possible time was when my mom got sent away for her own issues for 2 months. for 6 weeks, and that was the worst time of my life. And that was the time when I started making a YouTube channel, which was back in January, and that was when I made like the very first video, but that was when I was getting bullied too, so that wasn't the best time for me. And then when my mom got sent away, that was really hard for me because the bullying got worse and worse and worse to the point where I just didn't want to go to school. It got really bad to the point where I was harming myself. I started cutting myself out of anger and out of frustrations because I felt like that no one else cared about me. I just was really broken like around that time. And sorry if I start crying. It's just, there's a lot of emotion like behind this. And I was staying with my godparents those 2 months because my grandmother was not in the best place around that time. And because the bullying got worse, they couldn't do anything about it because my mom was away and they just wasn't able to do anything about it. And then after that, I became extremely quiet. I was not outspoken anymore. Before I got bullied and no one stood up for me, I was always outspoken. I never really let a lot of words like affect me. But after that, I begged my mom for me to be homeschooled in 8th grade because I was just so bad. And I went away from the middle school from 7th grade with an honor rolls. I got 80s except for 2 classes, so that was pretty good for me. But that left a lot of damage that couldn't be mended for a long time. And it also destroyed my confidence too. And for that year I stopped dance because I was like, I couldn't. And then a year later I dealt with a lot at home. A lot of I want to say kind of like abuse, but I don't really like to really talk about it. So I saw like a lot of like stuff being thrown because my grandmother got really angry with her dementia and she threw stuff. And I watched that, and at that moment I went into panic mode and I literally ran out of the house. My mom didn't know where I was because I ran. And at that point, my grandfather also passed away like before that too. So there was like a lot like going on in my life for 3 years. And even after, right after I came out of the public school, I broke my ankle. And I explained the story of how that happened. But I broke my ankle then a year after my grandfather passed away. Then, and that was like a big deal for me because my grandfather was really, really close. And then that same year, I started struggling with my eating disorder. And I went to dance again for the last year. Because, so basically, like the second to last year of dance, I came extremely close of quitting dance because I literally was coming out of a fractured ankle and I wasn't bouncing back. I literally wasn't. It took 9 months for me to officially bounce back from my fracture. After someone prayed for it, and then I had no more issues with it, but it came very close of me quitting dance because I just felt like I couldn't do it. And then on top of that, with all the drama that was always poured towards me, and dancing was no longer fun for me. So then, and also around that time too, I wrote my first song with some help from another person. And then fast forward to when I had my eating disorder. I started having an eating disorder, and I literally hid it from everyone. I hid it from my mom. I hid it from my grandmother. I hid it from everybody. And the point where it got discovered, which was January the next year, January 2019. That's when it got discovered by my mom. My mom realized what was going on after I skipped supper for the first time, and my mom's like, okay, there's something wrong. And it took 3 months for me to see the nutritionist again. And I talked a little bit about like what happened like then and there, and how I literally took the Bible into wrong context, into the wrong meaning and all that stuff. And I used that as a foundation with my eating disorder, which was bad. And then I went to see the nutritionist again, because I was not listening to anyone, because I was convinced I was perfectly fine when I wasn't. And when I saw the nutritionist again, and my mom walked in with me, and I told the nutritionist, I told her, I don't want to be there. And she told me, I know you don't want to be here. And honestly, like when I look back now, I know that I could have ended up in the hospital just like that if I didn't start eating, because my eating was really bad. With that, my eating was horrible. It was to the point where I was only eating 1 meal a day, and sometimes 2 meals a day. But when I was eating 2 meals a day, I was only eating the smallest amount of food as possible. And after that, I ate at the convention because I told the youth leader about my eating disorder, and she made sure I ate, and I felt okay, but I remember my stomach was hurting, but that was because I haven't been feeding myself at that point. And like for a little bit over a year, I struggled with my eating really badly. Like it went on and off. Like I would get better, but then I'd get worse. And out of like my eating disorder, between that and also with the bullying that I experienced, like both in school and also when I first started my YouTube channel, it also came with depression and anxiety. And I remember in 7th grade when I was in the public school, I've never shared this before, so this is the first time that I'm actually sharing this, and I had an anxiety attack during a test, and I remember I completely froze. It got to the point where I couldn't remember anything I've studied, and I've studied a lot that day, or I think it was a lot the day before, and I feel like I studied for nothing because fact that when I froze, I forgot all of the answers, and I pretty much failed the test because of the fact that I was so panic driven. And yeah, and I never like thought about that. And then on top of that, like, I am dealing with depression too, and that doesn't help too, and it doesn't help like with my eating disorder as well. And like this past year has been a struggle, and I decided like probably like for like one of the first times is like I am going to face my fears. I'm going to try to face all of my fears with my eating disorder. And sometimes it's been awesome. I've been able to face my fears perfectly fine. But then there's some when my eating disorder kind of backlashed at me. And it's been hard to face my fears. It's been hard to recover. And it's just been extremely hard. And I need to get back in the Word, and I know that the Bible has helped me in the past, and I know I need to get back to reading it, but then there's just that one part of me that's like, what if I don't really get like the pain and heartbreak that I went through, and won't get what the Bible's telling me through this? And honestly, now, like, the heartbreak that I went through, the eating disorder that I'm going through, is making me stronger. It's making me stronger in my faith. It's making me stronger in God, knowing that God will lead me through it. It's helping me a lot through this experience. And of course I wouldn't say it then, but I'm saying it now. And now is where it really matters the most, is when I'm actually admitting it, admitting that I've had trouble, admitting that I've had heartbreak. And that's like the biggest time. It's like I've never admitted that to anyone, except through like my counselor, through my mom sometimes. I haven't admitted that, like, at all, and that's a big deal for me. It's a big deal that I'm now, like, releasing, and now, like, sharing what I'm actually feeling, either through songwriting or through video, because in the past, I would have never done this. In the past, I would never have shared what I'm feeling. I would always hold it in. But I just would feel like no one would listen to me. No one would know my heartbreak. But honestly, when I share it, I know I'm helping other people who's going through this. And I know that it will help other people. And that's what's really helping me share this with you guys. And I know I was supposed to share like with my eating disorder story and more in detail, and this is as detailed as it's going to get. And I'm about to cry. So like this story is like so emotional for me. So I'm hoping that I am helping other people who went through this exact thing that I am sharing, who went through this in their family or went through this in school. Honestly, it's hard. It's going to be hard, but it will get better. It will get better over time. It won't get better, like, overnight. It won't. Like, for me, it only got better, like, within years. It took 3 or 4 years. 4 years. For years, it took for me to be able to share my feelings, to be able to share exactly what I'm feeling inside. Because I've dealt with so much heartbreak to the point where I don't know how to release them or how to deal with it. But I have been dealing with it. And I've been writing it down in my journal. Even though I'm dealing with so much now, I know and later on it will get better. And I believe that. So, bye guys. Thank you for watching.